try to help people in the affected areas. So we do our best, and we know you're doing your best. So of course our thoughts, prayers are with everyone down there, and that this will be over soon. As a matter of fact, Harvey's heading our way. We'll be involved with him on Saturday. But anyway, we're on Facebook Live and should be on YouTube Live as well. And that means that you can type in your questions, and we'll be glad to answer them live. That's why we're here. That's what we're all about. We'd like to answer questions to help you to get up and running so you can have backup emergency power for your home and family. Now, moving on, do we have, it's been a wild week. Just so you know, it's been a wild week. We're inundated with calls and emails and messages from customers needing help. So the whole crew is kind of on edge. We're working hard to be happy, but it's like we're like a corporation hospital. You know, when an emergency happens in town and they start rushing in people who are hurt and injured and need help, it puts everyone on edge and everyone's on duty. And so we just want to let you know it affects us too. It's not like, you know, we sit back and cruise through this. So we're going through this with you. So we are here to answer questions. We hope you have some that can help you get up and running on alternative fuel, especially when we hear that gasoline is so unavailable, which is just to be expected. I mean, we preach it all year, every year. Get ready for hurricane season because gasoline is the first thing to go. We have stock footage from Sandy and many of the other storms, but you don't need to be reminded of that, as I'm sure you don't. So I didn't know if we had any customer mail or something we're going to go to first, or because this is kind of put together here at last minute.
Dr. Hew, how about just an announcement that we are going to be offering between now and Friday a free upgrade to second day air for those in the path of Harvey.
Okay, good. Can they hear you now on the mic? Did we get that fixed?
Yeah, I turned it up.
No, I'm saying though, they can now hear you? No, on the air.
Not optimal, but they should be able
It's
to.
not optimal. All right, right now, until Friday, we're going to give second day air at what?
Pay the regular shipping, get free second day.
Okay, regular shipping, free second, to affected areas. Okay. So I'm sure you heard that 3 times better than I did. From now till Friday, if you're in an effective area, you'll get second day air. If you request it, we'll give you second day air at regular air price. So
regular ground price.
Regular ground price, yes. Put it in. All right.
And that's predicated on the expected arrival of another storm.
Yeah, that's, I hate to say I said so, but I said some time back, I've been doing this 25 years, and it's kind of like a path through the woods, and the storms follow those paths, and I just felt that this year it was coming. So, okay, yeah, I'd be surprised we don't have 3 or 4 more that do this, but I just hope we don't get a fiver this year. Anyway, what's next? I didn't make the announcement because I think you announced it like 3 times before I even got it.
How about discussion of, this is the Dr. Hew's pet peeve about the folks questioning the regulators and so forth and not following the troubleshooting advice. Maybe just speak to that a little bit. Introduce it.
Oh, you're talking about the one email? Like, all right. This engine regulator, and I've mentioned it before on the show, we use, and there's no secret, we use a Garrettson KN model regulator. Garrettson, awesome company from decades ago. Decades? Yeah, decades ago. Bought out by IMCO, and this is a bulletproof regulator. I mean, if this was like a scuba regulator, it wouldn't bother me a bit to take one out of the box, screw the fittings in it, put the mask on, and go underwater. Because, and all the time I've been doing this, these things are just bulletproof. You don't have to worry about them. But we'll get customers that say, oh, I know that regulator has to be bad. Now, we typically give in when it comes to someone demanding a new snorkel, because you want to please people, because people get upset. And so sometimes we'll send them a new snorkel in case one of ours, because we make those ourselves. So the snorkel, we do Q&A, but it may not pass. So, all right, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt on the snorkel. When it comes to a regulator, I put my foot down. I don't let the regulators go out the door unless I'm involved personally, which it's that serious. And so because they're so bulletproof, we ask customers to send us pictures. I call it from fuel in to fuel out. I like to see where you hooked it into your fuel line all the way to the regulator. And almost always, if somebody has a problem with an engine on natural gas, they'll usually tell us, I have to hold the primer in to keep it running. Oh, then it runs fine. Or I have to put my hand over the intake to the air filter, then it does better. Well, we will get these regulators back. The first thing I do, I don't care. I'll take them out of the box and I'll go like this. You hear that? Oh, here's my mic right here. Hear that? This is a good regulator. I push back on it. Listen. Hear it lock up? Yeah. So the diaphragm's not blown because I'm blowing backwards. And I barely draw on it. It opens. Well, you'll get pictures and you'll find out there's these goofy shutoff valves and hoses that are used for grills and stuff, and bell increasers, which there's no such thing. There's only bell reducers. And blame it on the regulator, only because it's the biggest thing involved. And so I will not send out one. I really won't. And people just won't believe it. So our thing is, if you'll work with us when it comes to your gas supply, just like we had a customer that swore he had cylinders that were on propane that had been purged, and he just wanted to get past that. He wanted the magical solution. This stuff is so simplistic. This device is so simple physically. So come to find out, after hours and hours and days, wasting his time, of course, and ours, he finally admitted his tanks were never purged. And guess what? He put a used tank on it, ran beautiful. So you got to work with us, please. If you're having an issue, please listen to the techs. They know what they're talking about. Especially if you get with Sean. He's a quality tech. He knows what he's talking about. And if you do what he says, verify the fuel delivery is correct, you should be fine. It's kind of like, we had one customer got a 10-horse engine, and by my calculations, his hookup is giving him 5 horsepower worth of fuel. So would you like to strap a hose to your mouth from McDonald's milkshake, take the hose, the straw, taped around your lips, and go jogging down the road? I don't think you would, because you're going to starve of air. You can sit here and breathe all right, probably, through it real slowly. See, that's idle. See, that's fine. But you got to work with us. So we will almost never send out an engine regulator. And if we do, we're going to ask you to pay the freight, because guess what? You're going to get it back unless you... Some customers will say, oh, yeah, that fixed it. And we'll get the old one back and it's perfect. So we know, okay, you realize what we said was true and change something anyway. So please work with us here. We know what we're doing. 25 years. When you do something 25 years, you should have a pretty decent idea what you're doing, I would think. And so I guess that's almost the pet peeve of the week is, please listen to us. I mean, if you're going to call us for tech help, please take our advice. If you send us pictures, And that's the coolest thing. People send us pictures. It's like, here's the regulator, right? And where it hooks into the regulator, there'll be like this blockage. Oh, wait, let me do this right. Yeah, it's like, hey, wait a minute. We see the generator over here. We see the engine regulator, but we see this blockage right in front of it. That's because there's this little nipple that came off of a, never mind. Don't get me started. Send us full pictures. Full disclosure, if you really want help, we'll get you up and running. All you do is waste your time, waste our time. And we're trying to help other people. And so, hey, I'm not saying these things could never be bad, but we really started checking into it. And in 20 years of you and Garrettson regulators, we have yet to send one back to the factory. They flow test them at the factory. Please help us out, and we'll help you out. I think I'm going to get off my soapbox on that one.
Okay, so let's go, Dr. Hew. We've got kind of a slow audience today, I think, because of the late start that we got. So put up a question we've gotten, and it's relevant specifically to the people in the path of Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
So here goes. Oops, not that.
You can put that on your bran flakes in the morning. They're seeing what I'm seeing, the sugar carb. Brown sugar, like a carb shouldn't do. We got to come up with a brown sugar song. Come on, Sean. You play guitar. This really makes it folksy, Brian. There's no pressure. Take your time. I could belt out something. Hey, there's a question. My generator was submersed. That's all I got. My generator, oh, is it back? In water. How can I get it working again? It depends. Oh boy. If it's an inverter, I'd really be suspect. If it's an electric generator, old generator, you can probably get by. You want me to go through all the steps that I would take personally? Oh man. And it's on gasoline? Okay. Gasoline bowls, I'll give you an example in this one. Am I there? Hello, am I there? There's all the stuff in front of me. There you go. All right, see, most gasoline bowls have a screw that leads, this particular one leads to this port, and this port should have a hose that runs outside the machine. That's how you drain the bowl. All right, so you definitely want to make sure, I would check that first. If you open that and no water comes out of the bowl, then you know no water got into the carburation system. Of course, you want to pull your air filter assembly, dry out your air filter or put a new one in it. Pull your spark plugs or plug and crank the engine as fast as you can and see if water squirts out of the hole. If it does, then you know you had water in it. I love Marvel mystery oil. So if you had some water in there, you can, WD-40, a lot of people don't know, WD is supposed to mean water displacement. So you can spray WD-40 down the spark plug hole and it helps dry up the moisture. There's other things out there. I know people send you a list. By the way, I still need that list of what Dr. BS is all about. So that's around here somewhere. So put Marvel down there. The whole idea with it is don't be in a hurry. Try to take it step by step and work through the different sections of the engine and either dry them out or make sure they're dry. So you do that. It depends whether water came out or not. One thing I would definitely do is pull the cover off the flywheel area where the pull start is or the cover for it. And I would soak it with WD-40 because what happens is the magneto and the magnets will will rust. Spray that whole area. As for the alternator end of it, just make sure it dries out. Again, too, we had a water leak in our ventilation system this week in one of our MakerBot 3D printers. We have like 3 of them here that run. Water went directly into our MakerBot. I had pictures of a puddle of water coming out of the MakerBot the next day. I thought that thing was done for. We got some 3-in-1 oil down into the Z, the Z function of the worm gear would lock up. Got some 3-in-1 down in there. It's acted erratically for a couple of days, and right now it's acting good, acting correctly. You can depend on it. So if I would spray all the bearings and any of the windings, all that with WD-40. Let it sit for as long as you can. Put it back together. And again, of course, if I didn't mention that, that's what's hard if you don't have notes. I would drain the oil, make sure there's no water in it. If there's water in it, go ahead and refill it with regular oil. And now the thing is, if you used any of the Marvel in the valve, don't fill up the spark plug hole with Marvel. Put in a couple tablespoons. Made that mistake once. Woo! You will smoke up a room, Jack. That Marvel smokes pretty good, but it's a sweet savor of motors. And so it's kind of the basic idea. Use water displacement to try to get rid of any residuals, and if you can let it dry out as long as you can. And I can't think of anything else. But the first step, like I said, is check the carburetor bowl. And probably the second step would be to check the oil drain plug. You'll know if you have water in it. And it could be that it pretty much held up. And I'd like to know someone who went through that and got it up and running. That'd be interesting to know what they did and how it worked out for them. Share that with us. We'll send you something. My doctor of BS. All right. Hey, look. This is all. My people are awesome. Doctor of BS. He must be a doctor of BS.
Dr. Hew, introduce what this is first.
Oh, well, we had a customer say he questioned one of my statements and said, "He must be a doctor of BS," and we couldn't figure out what BS was. That left the whole world open. So, this must be one of the sweet girls wrote, "Doctor of Big Smile." That's not me though. No. Doctor of Breath Sound. That sounds like the guy who says, "I can put on a white coat and I'm smart too," or something like that. All right. Doctor of Blue Sky. Now I do like that one. Blue sky. I use that term all the time. It's all blue sky. Doctor of Bumper Stickers? I'm not going to mention this next one. It's physical, personal. All right. Doctor of Buy and Sell. No. Bridget, no. Business, no. Blood glucose. Doctor of Behavioral Science. Now that's a good one. I like that. That could be the people that call you for help and don't listen. That's a behavioral science. They won't behave. They won't listen. Bachelor of Science. Brush Steel. Ooh, that makes me sound like a superhero. I am Doctor of Brush Steel. I like that one. Let's see. Am I boring? I won't go on. I'm going to save the other half of the list. I don't think we hit on the correct doctor of BS that I am, though. Do you? Okay. No questions.
We do have it's sort of a question.
It's sort of a question.
So what we have...
That would be a curiosity, wouldn't it? If it's sort of a question? I don't have a question. I'm just curious.
Okay, so Earl says, I bought the snorkel kit and never got it to work yet with propane. Have not tried gas yet.
Gas as in natural gas or gasoline? Must be.
Specific.
Sounds like natural gas.
Sean thinks it's natural gas, which it probably is. See, that's fuel in, fuel out. What do you have for, my first question with it, especially if you're using propane, is what is your fuel tank situation? Those cylinders can wreak havoc on you. So that's what we always say. If you go to a rack, get the ugliest cylinder you can find to put on to test it with. So our advice is save yourself a ton of time. Find a used ugly cylinder that you know has been filled multiple times. Put it on your generator. I've said it before on the show, I run a ton of equipment at my farm on propane, and we have a rack here at the shop, which is the one I did the debunk the junk when I went out there and weighed all the cylinders, found out they're all 15 pounds. My goal that morning was to grab all the ugly cylinders, and you can tell an ugly cylinder, I shouldn't say you can tell, everyone can tell an ugly cylinder. A good indication that it's a properly purged cylinder is look for tare weight. The newer ones are lighter. I think the latest I've seen is like 16.6, and it was 16.6 pounds. That means the cylinder with valve delivered off the truck will weigh 16.6 pounds with nothing in it. It used to always be 17.3. Before that it was like 18.6. So, and if you didn't know the trick, you're wondering how thick is this steel tank? Just look at the neck ring. The neck ring is where you grab it with your hand to lift it. That's the neck ring. The cylinder is as thick as that neck ring. And so what they're doing is they're making them thinner and thinner, of course, to save money. So yeah, check your fuel supply first. The regulator that you're using after that. If you still can't get it going, please send us pictures of fuel in and fuel out from the cylinder to the engine regulator. And it's funny, we'll get these pictures like there's a picture missing somewhere in the middle. And I told the story about natural gas where I went down to Florida and 4 people had like the 2-barrel carburetor generators down there and they wouldn't run. And they swore to me, oh, we have 1-inch lines, whatever it was. Come to find out, they ran back to 1/2-inch lines supplying a natural gas water heater, teed off of it, ran that 1/2-inch line over the garage, out of the garage, over the side of the garage, stubbed out, and then went to a 1-inch line for like 20 feet to the generator. So they tell you, I got a 1-inch line to my generator, and it won't run. Then you find out it's got like all this 1/2-inch natural gas way back and feeding a water heater at the same time, which the line was only designed for the water heater. So what can you do?
Dr. Hew, we have another question from Chris on Facebook.
Hey, Chris.
I've heard you mention several times now to find or use a used or purged cylinder. What do I have to do to a brand new propane cylinder to run a gen set with your snorkel kit?
Oh man, we're going to be doing that video. We have the video. Well, actually, we didn't take video of it. I could kill myself. No, I wouldn't kill myself. I might scream. But anyway, to answer your question, we had 100-pound cylinders that we had to use. We did a food trailer for emergency response team. They built this food trailer that they were going to take, and it could very well now be heading to Texas. It was that kind of unit, built-in kitchen, everything, beautiful water heaters, all in this trailer. And we mounted 2 100-pound cylinders in there for the Yamaha 12,000. And we bought brand new 100-pound cylinders, and we purged them 5 times. And what we did is we put in vapor up to, we had a gauge, I can't remember, I think it was around 15 pounds of vapor pressure to the cylinder. And we had, hey, I think we have that purging valve in the kit center hanging on that one rack. The purging valve that we used on the 100-pound cylinder has a gauge, shut-off valves. Yeah. So, yeah, I got to grab it if you would. Give you something to do. So we would fill it with 15 pounds of vapor pressure. We would shut that part off, and we had a burner and we'd light the burner and burn that vapor off till it burn out. Then, turn that out, turn the vapor valve back on, fill it back up to 15 more pounds. Hey, can you contact the CSRs? We have a vaporization, oh wait a minute, do I have I might have it here. Vaporization chart. Tells you what percentage of vapor each time. If any of the CSRs are watching the program from their offices, please provide the vaporization chart showing what the percentage of every time it's vapor. I don't know what, we should have that in here. That's a good one. So anyway, we did this I think it was the 5th time, we hardly noticed any difference. And then we put it on the generator and it ran fine. So I believe it was 5 times we added vapor pressure. Is this the device? Yeah, I think it is. All right, so here you go. We had this gauge screwed into the cylinder, right? So it's on the cylinder, and this is not the one. Anyway, wait a minute, maybe it is, hold on. Oh yeah, because I had a quick disconnect, okay. So we had this on the, what we knew was a good, clean propane supply. So it fed gas through the hose to the T, okay? And so we would turn it on, fill the 100-pounder up to 15 pounds, watching the gauge, and then shut it off, and we would pop it loose. Boy, it's been a long time, all right? And then magically, I forgot how we did the rest of it, but you'd hook it to the burner and blow it off. And then and there's easier ways to do it. We just didn't use that many fittings. And can I have the chart, please? And we will post this through, is this backwards? Yep. Yes, it is. Haha. All right, I'll read it off to you since you're not in a hurry. First, purging. If you do it that way, and I'll have to find, it may be 25 pounds of pressure. There's a certain pressure that the NFPA recommends, but if you purge correctly with vapor pressure and then burn it off safely, the first time you do it, you still have 50% of the air remaining in that cylinder. So half the cylinder still has air in it. So you pump it up with vapor again, second purging, you will have 25% of the air still remaining in it. The third time you do that, you'll have 12.5% of the air remaining in it. The fourth purging, and that's why it's marked here, so far we found out you can get by with that. By the fourth purging, there's still like 6% air left in it. But look at that, the fifth, sixth, even at the sixth purging, you're down to just like a 1.5% of air left in it. And as my buddy, unfortunately passed away years ago, I'd love to have met him, Julius Sumner Miller. He's one of the most awesome geniuses when it comes to physics. He did 45 episodes of physics that were just mind-opening. And he would tell you, I don't care how many times you purge this cylinder, you'll never, ever, ever get all the air out of it, ever. Now, he said that, I didn't. Well, he did that when it came to these Magdeburg spheres. He says, if you pump the sphere down with a vacuum pump, so-called, you'll never get all the air out of it. A million years, you'll never get all the air out of it. But anyway, so to answer your question, it's to be pressurized with vapor and burned off, pressurized with vapor, burned off. And it's supposed to be done by a qualified propane company. And they, if you look at a dispensing unit, they'll usually have a flaring pipe to flare off the gas when they're doing that. So, oh, and let me bring up a good point. Vacuum purging is not purging for engines. Vacuum purging works fine for barbecue grills. Vacuum purging does not work for engines. We need that on a plaque. Brian. We need that on our Facebook page or something. Vacuum purged cylinders are not purged for engines, because I can guarantee you, you will be at least 35% air still in the tank with vacuum purging. It's a neat idea for grills, because some places never would purge them. And what would happen is you go to fill it. And I remember I was a young dude. I started getting into propane. I was lazy. It's like I'd grab a brand new cylinder out of the showroom, bring it out for a customer. Yeah, I'd blow off the air. Because what they do is they put like dry air in it. And I'd hook the thing up, start filling. And you couldn't get over like 3.5 gallons in it. Because the air, you can't compress air, see? And so it would not allow any more propane into it. Because propane dispensers don't pump propane. They paddle propane. There's no compression. So I know I'm getting off subject. I seen on the left side that there was a chart. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say we have the chart.
Do you have to put your mouth right on the microphone? Is that necessary? Okay. Well, we have a chart. Can we have a nice chart, though?
We may do before we could.
Whose fingernail is that? Ignore the fingernail. But that pretty much tells you exactly what I was saying. First purging. And that means, what that means is you get a cylinder, they'll come with so-called dry air in them, kind of like when you buy tires with hydrogen, which, I'd love to talk about hydrogen tires. If anybody really wants to know the truth about hydrogen tires, I love talking about that. But anyway, first purging. So you bleed it out like I just said a moment ago. All right. And you fill it. You're still going to have 50% of that cylinder with air in it. So there you go. Thank you for providing the chart. You're going to keep that in the archives, right? The archives. So you can have this one back. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm giving it back. Chart. All right. Man, I can't believe it's Tuesday. We were loaded up with questions. Today we don't have any questions. None? Oh, that was a question. What do I know? I just give an answer. I don't know what question.
Okay, Dr. Hew, let's go to another customer question.
Hey, great. Is it going to go over my... Okay, thank you.
So this question, how long will a generator run on a tank of propane? And this question is from every customer ever.
I know it's from every customer ever because it doesn't say the size of the propane tank. So that's how I know it's from every customer ever. Okay. Our stock response is look at your owner's manual or go by past history. You say, hey, I've used this generator and I get 8 hours out of 5 gallons of gasoline. If you get a true 20-pound cylinder of propane, it will run about the same amount of time, 8 hours. So under full load, I shouldn't say under full load. A 5,000 watt generator will typically use about a gallon of fuel per hour, whether it's gasoline or propane. And so figure a gallon per hour. And that even works on the bigger ones because the average person only uses 5 kW per hour. And no matter, they buy the big ones because they want to make sure they have enough power, but a gallon per hour. So that saves us on wondering what size cylinder they have because, a 20-pound cylinder is supposed to hold 4.7 gallons. A 30-pound cylinder, like on a camper, holds 7.2. A 40-pound cylinder holds 9. Oh man, now you're hurting my brain. 9.7, I think. But so there you go. Gallon per hour. Decent sized generator in the load. Now, like a 2,000 watt inverter or something. I've heard of those getting 20 hours on a 20-pound cylinder because the echo system and they're idling up and down. And echo on an inverter is good. Echo on electric generator is bad. That's another plaque we can have. We should have these little plaques. Echo inverter, good. Echo electric, bad. Don't ask why. you really have to lean?
I feel compelled.
He leans into the microphone. Like, okay, I'll get it. It's like a $6,000 microphone he has to lean into. Go ahead. I think the audience deserves to see what you look like. I just spin the camera.
This question came in from the CSRs on the telephone. They messaged it to us. So this question is from David. David says, does the generator have to start on gasoline first before switching to gas, or will it start on natural gas?
It should start just fine on natural gas. Now, again, I would ask questions. Is it a gasoline unit with an auto choke? If you're at the generator and you pull the choke and start on gasoline, then yes, all you have to do is have the gasoline off, and on natural gas, just walk right up, make sure your gas valve's on for your natural gas, hit your primer button, psst, psst, which is the equivalency of a choke, so to speak, except it's the opposite of a choke. Instead of choking it, you're feeding it. Isn't that nice? It's like having a pet. You know, if this was your dog, wouldn't you rather feed your dog than choke your dog? Anyway, no, you purge it, no, give it a little gas, and start it up. And no, you do not have to start it up on gasoline at all. No, that's why, like I said, for years, my soapbox was get rid of the gasoline, get the tank off of there, build a shelf, store your oil up there and accessories and the extra weight. Oh, that was one of the questions we got this week. It's like, hey, can I just dump the gasoline tank and save the weight on my Jenny? He even said Jenny. I always love guys that say Jenny. I think that's cute. Absolutely. You have that Predator 2000 we did. I forgot how much it held for gasoline, but if it held 1 gallon, and I think gasoline is like 7 pounds per gallon compared to water. So you have 7 more pounds to pick up and lift and move, which we know 7 pounds isn't much for most people, but moving it around, carrying it to your campsite, 7 pounds is a lot more weight. Whereas with alternative fuel, you have a quick disconnect, you don't have that extra 7 pounds in there, and you just carry your cylinder separately. And of course, compared to 1 gallon, you get 5 gallons on a grill bottle, you run 5 times as long, and you're not carrying that 7 pounds 5 times, which is 35. I just added it up real quick. I don't know. I'm getting bored. Give me some questions. Doctors get bored. Did I tell you I'm not a real doctor? I just play one on TV.
This one is a follow-up from Xboxer.
Xboxer, our buddy. How you doing, man? I'm glad you're around.
This is related to the discussion. I was a little delayed in catching the question, but this goes back to the discussion about purging the tanks.
He was the purging question guy?
No, he wasn't the purging question guy, but he's chiming in with additional questions and follow-up comments.
He's a chimer?
So after, say, 5 fills of a 100-pound cylinder, is it pretty much purged out? And then he says, if so, that makes sense as to why my 7K never could take a full load.
Yeah, see, you just said, see those magical terms? You said 7 fills. Now, see, I didn't say fills. I said purgings of vapor pressure. There is nothing on the charts about fills. In other words, people will fill their tank and they didn't purge it and they fill it. What do I do now? Oh, can I just bleed out like, 20 seconds or a minute or two, and now all the air is gone? You don't have the answer to that. But logic would lead one to believe, I would think, if you ran something other than an engine, I could see if you ran the cylinder all the way down, that it would be ready the next fill. All the way down. If you ran it all the way down. I could see that happening. But we're talking about purging a tank and prepping it for use on an engine. And don't forget that chart that we showed you, that's for all equipment. That was not produced by us. That was produced by, let me see, there is a great little book. Where's that thing at? And it probably tells you I'm very organized here, by the way, but my Rego book. Oh, here it is. Here's my Rego book. I should have went to this to begin with. It's better than what you have. This is an awesome book. If you can get a hold of this book, it's the, I'll show you, the Rego, it's the Ogier. The Ogier, I know, you see everything backwards. It's the Rego Form L545, revision, whatever. Rego is the LP Serviceman's Manual. You know, I got this thing. Let me see if it even dated it. Man, I'm pretty sure this is what I used as a technician back way, yeah, copyright 1962. That's pretty cool, huh? Anyway, let me see what they say. This gives you everything, man. It gives you first and second stage, gives you your tank settings. I don't know if this is copyright material, but as long as I mention who they are, it should be legal. Here, it gives you comparisons. And actually, I know it looks like Greek, but let me see here. So we go to the table of contents and we see, should say purging here somewhere. Safety, excess flow valves, safety relief valves, LP gas through orifices, line sizing, valves fitted equivalently. Okay, propane storage vessel, determining turning load, number of DOT cylinders, sizing ASME tank, proper purging. I told you it was in here, page 8. All right, now let me see who tells you this. A very important step, which is generally overlooked by LP gas distributors, is the importance of properly purging new LP gas containers. Attention to this important procedure will promote customer satisfaction and greatly reduce service calls on new installations. Consider the following. And it tells you both water and air are contaminants. Neutralizing moisture, the rule of thumb. They even tell you about putting in methanol to get rid of, which, man, I'd love to tell about that. I had a 1,000-gallon on the grain tank that I had to put ethanol in. It would freeze up the regulator. Terrible. Avoid substitutes. Never purge with liquid, see? Never purge with liquid. A lot of guys want to do that. Shoot some liquid into the tank. I know, I did it. And what it does, it flashes, any liquid in there, it flashes it into ice, and it doesn't go away. So to do so causes liquid to flash. Hey, I remember that. I'm an old guy, I still remember that stuff. Flash into vapor, chilling the container and condensing any moisture vapor on the walls where it remains while the pressure bends. Additionally, less than 50% or as little as 25% of the air will remove. Says the correct procedure purge says the following step. Okay. Oh, and this must be where we see. There's where that chart came from. So we need to give credit. That chart came from this publication from Rego. So we don't want to say we made that up. It's from the Rego chart. And I know you can't tell because it looks like Greek. So some great things in here. If there's anything in here you might want to know about, ask our CSRs. We'll send you some information on it. But we didn't make it up. Yes, sir. My producer was doing flailings. I don't know what that means. What? He does flail. Are you bailing out on me? What are we doing? What pressure does the engine regulator require? All right, so we're talking about the zero governor. And, you know, I really want to bring that out again. This is not. What pressure does the engine regulator require? Einstein the cat. That's for my wife. That is not right. We have a cat named Einstein. But anyway, that's just so bad. You guys shouldn't do that to me. This is not a regulator. This is a zero governor. And that's why you can, and gas come through it. You can put pressure, nothing comes out. I don't say nothing, I say nothing. A regulator will take tank pressure and keep it at 11 inches. That's a regulator. This is not a regulator. It's like a snorkel zero governor. You breathe, bubbles come out of your face. Bubbles come out of your face. Bubbles come out of your face. No more air, no more bubbles. Well, anyway, what pressure does it require? This can handle up to a half a pound of pressure. And so propane is 11 inches water column. Hey, that's what we didn't do. And natural gas is typically 6 to 8 inches water column. And there's 28 inches and 1 PSI, which I should have that chart here. 28 inches equals 1 PSI, 2 inches of mercury. But anyway, 11 inches of water column. So we're going to do a Facebook little video on how to build a water manometer. Where's the one off the side of that machine? A water manometer for basically for free if you can steal the tubing from somebody. But you can build your. Huh?
You make it the one you made.
Why do you want to embarrass me? Yeah, give me the one we made. This is a water manometer. A U-tube is also called. And so when you put pressure down this side of the tube, so if this is at 0 with water, you put pressure down this side of the tube, it's going to push the water down. It goes like here, 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 here. So you turn the gas on and it goes to here, you have 4 inches, right? Correct. But what you really have is it's pushing this side down and up to the 4 inches over here. Now what you really have is 8 inches of water column. And we're going to show you, this one, yeah, how you can take a piece of cardboard. And this one's actually fancy and really, take a piece of cardboard with some wire ties and make yourself a U-tube, get your ruler, and you can do the same thing. I might as well tell them the whole thing then, Brian, since we're doing that. You can take your fitting out from the side of your regulator safely. You always have to do all this stuff safely. And put your barb fitting in there. And when you turn your gas on, right? Turn your gas on. Hey, it's over here. Turn your gas on. It's going to blow the water, push against the water, and push it up. And you will get a water manometer reading on here. Isn't that cool? So it depends where the whole cost really, everybody has wire ties. It doesn't have to be wire ties. It could be those ties you get on your bags of bread. It could be tape. It could be anything. You don't even have to print it out like we did. You can just take something, mark inches. And so what you really need is the clear tubing. That's the key, clear tubing. Now there is a chemical, somebody will write in, well, you actually need to use the 0 pressure green chemical. Yes, I know, but it's going to be within a fraction of an inch of water column. So what'll happen is, here, let me show you. Let me give you a real life demonstration what happens. Since we got time. Do we have time, Mr. Producer? I don't know what that means.
We'll make time, Dr. Hew. Whatever you think's important.
Let me think. Oh, that's good. All right. Well, you see here, my water right now, where am I at? All right. It's at the 5 mark. So if I put a little pressure on this, you'll see it move from the 5. And you get about 7 inches of water column, right? When you add them together. Now, what the problem is, you'll hook this up, right? And it's at 0, and you'll turn on the gas, and it'll do this. And wet the wall next to us over here. No more water. And you know what's cool about this? You can't break it. Hey, where am I? Oh, here am I. You can't break it. Just refill it with water and do it again. Just make sure the other end isn't aimed towards the wall like I did, and I hope there's nothing over there of any value, but I just wanted to make the point. People will say, oh, I got the right pressure. You put that on there, and did we ever, we were going to do the blown regulator. Is it still here? Do we have it available? Oh, come on now. I bet you can find it. we're going to fix it and send it back, right? You
We
didn't.
already sent it back.
Well, he had someone who put 5 pounds. Was it 5 pounds? They admitted to putting 2 or 5 pounds of pressure to the inlet of the regulator and wanted their money back. And of course, you can't get your money back for. I mean, that we wish we could. I mean, nobody wants to lose money on anything. You make a mistake. We all wish we didn't, but you know. So it blew the regulator. We're going to open it up and show you what it looks like when you blow the diaphragm. And typically you can repair it. And we're going to show you the repair. So maybe we'll go ahead and do that. Maybe we'll blow a regulator ourselves and then we'll fix it and show you how not to do something. You're moving my carb sign around. What are you doing over there? Oh. Hey, put it on my chest like Superman. Go ahead. There you go. All right, he's going to show you a, come on, do it right. There you go. He's going to show you what he said earlier about shipping. And so I like that. I am U.S. Carb Man. What about the thing you're doing about the shipping? Wasn't that what that was for? Will you get that off of me?
That was for closing the show out, Dr. Hew, but if you insist, here it is.
Oh, okay. We're trying to keep this lively. I think we're all just sleep deprived and worn out. Free upgrade to secondary air for those affected by Harvey in that area, or those going to be. But not anticipated. See, some people say, oh, I could be in a path. We really can't, because there's no such thing as free. A free upgrade is just, we're just not, you know, Dr. BS, blue sky. You know, there's no more blue sky. And so we get nothing extra out of it. And I already...
We should say it's a humanitarian upgrade.
It really, every time this happens, we get a certain person to say we take advantage of people. I already said that, right? It's like, that really hurts you when you do this for a living. We're here all the time. And it's like, I heard of one company that was selling cases of water for $40 a case. I mean, we are actually offering a discount for those affected. And so how can you be taking advantage of people when you're actually losing more money than, and I'm sure someone will say, well, you can't win anymore. Brian, is anybody even?
I think we're out of questions.
We're out of questions.
So go ahead and wrap it up. I mention again that we're doing free upgrade to secondary shipping for those in the hurricane affected areas. Folks needing a little help. We've had a lot of requests for folks desperately asking us to please get the shipping out right away.
I got a question. Hello?
Dr. Hew, yes.
Yes, thank you.
You in front.
May I ask a question, please? I'm not involved with this, but how's our shipping going? I know a lot of times when these storms come through, our UPS is affected and they'll tell us there's certain zones we can't ship to. Is that the situation right now where USPS, mail service, typically has a stronger resilience to storms and we can still ship USPS mail service, which also gives Saturday delivery where, so is that the situation? CSRs are listening in, they can answer that question.
So
That's an important question. Huh?
there are several areas that UPS has halted delivery to.
Okay.
But there are also in some of the most badly affected areas, USPS has also suspended service. So we have links to that information. We're checking that and we're letting the customers know at the time they place their order if there's going to be a delay or if we need to make some sort of alternate arrangements to help the customer out. But so right now, other than that, and to my knowledge, we haven't had any that have been into the affected areas where the service has been suspended. Right now, we're shipping same day, pretty much. The orders that come in, they're going to go out the same day. So we're not back ordered at this point.
So I haven't. So let me ask this off the air. in trouble. If we, if there's an alternative to the second day air that will get it there quicker, we'll give you a discount off that as well. It's not just locked into that. So, in other words, we'll do the best we can to get it there because we have family and friends down there too. So we're trying to help out anyone we can without losing our shirt. So I guess we're heading out. So please send your emails, texts, live chats if you wish. Of course, you are so funny. I think he does that on purpose. Could you put it back, please? Our 800 number. You know me, I'll wait here all day because I'm committed. Thank you. Our 800 number, 1-800-553-5608, which is no way to make anything interesting off of that. Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. And do we still have that number for Canada? Just in case we have any Canadians listening in, eh? No? Is that 800 number still good? Do you mind people using that? If you want a number you might be able to remember, get that off my face, man. We also have a second 800 number. I like it. It's 1-800-GUN-0077. 1-800-GUN-007. 1-800-GUN-0077. All right, folks, it's been a pleasure to be with you. We love working with you and helping you out with your systems. And when will we be back? Are we going to do anything live with questions prior to Tuesday, or is probably it, huh? All right. We may do a live show Tuesday if the storm, depend on the storm. There's another one coming. Remember I said episodes ago, are we trailing out? What are you doing? The path is open, you know, and I've seen it before. So if anyone else, if you have a hurricane heading your way, keep us in mind for being here, for answering your questions on hookup and about your generator and what to do to get it ready and whatever you need. So this is Dr. Hew saying thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.